Hi, this is Dr. Dan Rubin with Ad Hoc with the Doc, and I'm sitting here with Jenny Martin from Phoenix Cancer Support Network, and we're going to talk about support for people with cancer. This is what you're passionate about, I know from talking to you, and it's such an important part of sort of the complexity and comprehensiveness of people's journeys. Why do you find that it's important? What have you experienced since you started PCSN?
Sure. Well, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is important because there are lots of gaps in our community when it comes to making sure that cancer patients have everything that they need to be able to focus on their journey and not worry about the minutia of day-to-day life while they're going through this journey. And what we found...
They can focus on healing.
Correct.
And getting better.
Correct.
And dealing with their medicines, etc.
Correct. And their treatment.
Yeah.
And what we found is that when people have reach out to community resources, there are limits to what can happen, what they can get for care and for support. For example, if a patient has to go to their doctor every day for 7 weeks for treatment, and they can only...
Like radiation.
Correct.
Okay.
For radiation.
That does sound like a lot to the general audience.
It does. Okay. So for a radiation patient, they will go every day for several weeks as prescribed by their doctor. The American Cancer Society does a great job of providing transportation, but only up to 15 rides. So total.
In 7 weeks.
In 7 weeks. So that's there and back. So that's 7 rides to the doctor and home.
Oh.
So what happens for the next 6 weeks if somebody is alone, too sick to drive themselves, doesn't have a family member to help them? They can call us and we will pick up the rest of those rides.
That's fantastic. So helping them with rides. What about like helping them with records collection or bill paying? Or I mean, those are just 3 of the things that they have to manage, not to mention their daily lives, getting food in their body, sleeping, dealing, managing with their families.
Yep. I mean, we started this thing and we thought we had an idea of what people needed and we tailored it to a few specific things like you would think of top of mind. But over the course of the year that we've been helping people, there's so much more that we didn't know that people need help with. We've got somebody out in Peoria who needs help with her dog being walked because she's too sick and she's alone. So we send a volunteer to go walk her dog.
Fantastic.
So anything from paying bills to getting food to transportation to I sent somebody to go pull weeds at someone's house today. If you're in active treatment and these are things that are very challenging for you because you're really focusing on getting through your journey and getting better, we want to help with that.
So this is highly individualized. This is meeting people where they're at, not a pre-prescribed program.
Correct.
So you said this thing. Sounds like it's more than just this thing. Tell us what this thing is. How did you found Phoenix Cancer Support Network? What was the passion behind it, the motivation? Tell us your story.
Sure. So 13 years ago, I lost my sister Annie to a very rare type of bone cancer called Ewing sarcoma. And she was 21 when she was diagnosed, and she was 24 when she passed away. So she fought it very hard for 3.5 years. And what I got to see during that time was not only what the patient goes through in a cancer journey, but what the family goes through and what the caregivers go through. And my father's a physician, so even in that space, he knew medically what was going on, but he had no idea what we were facing at the beginning of that journey from a caregiver standpoint.
Sort of like the non-biological social issues.
Exactly. And this is, we're a family where we've got a lot of extended family, we've got a lot of support, we've got a lot of people around us locally where we were in Wisconsin at the time.
Got it.
And so what about the people who don't have that kind of support system? Who's helping them? Or who don't have a doctor in the family, right?
Oh, boy.
Who helps these people?
Right, the doctor in the family can help interpret and troubleshoot, et cetera. And it's like a great family advocate to have.
Exactly. So my goal 13 years later, in my sister's honor, I wanted to start something that would allow for us to help other people who are going through a similar journey.
Wonderful.
And so about 2 years ago, I started thinking about how we could do that. And I gathered a group of people who are like-minded individuals in the healthcare space. I have a healthcare background on the administrative side. I know a lot of physicians. So, and a lot of really good people, professionals who have a similar passion for helping cancer patients. And we formed a board of directors, and we spent the first year planning it and how we were going to help people and getting our 501c3 paperwork done and figuring out how we were going to get the money to do it. And then a year later, last August, we launched, and it's been a year, and we have about 40 cancer patients and their families we're helping now.
So congratulations on a year.
Thank
That's
you.
a ton of work,
you.
and having it not be the your primary job, so to speak, and just coming out of passion in honor of your sister and bringing your family into this, and 40 people under your surveillance right now, I think is wonderful, and how fortunate they are to have people like you behind them.
Thank you.
What do you think are some of the unique things that people have commented about, or how you've uniquely helped out, what you've seen come out of cancer support? Because to me, this is what Phoenix Cancer Support Network is doing is unique in the support space. This is one of the first I've heard of this type of support.
Sure. So we are very different in a number of ways. First of all, you see a lot of support out there for specific cancer types. So you'll see a lot of support groups for breast cancer patients or pancreatic cancer. We don't discriminate. Any cancer type, any age, we're here to help. The other piece of it also that's very unique to us is, as you mentioned, it's very individualized care. So where a lot of support groups have you go to their facility, we bring the support to the patient.
You do. That's such a decrease in the burden of having to get off work or finding another ride, for instance.
Correct.
Interesting. Jenny, with all the help that you provided individuals with cancer over the last almost 1 year, our audience would love to hear a motivational story of somebody you've helped.
That's a good question. I've got 40 people, and I feel like they're all very motivating. But if I have to narrow it down to one in particular, my mind goes to a couple not from Phoenix, but from New York City, actually. And these were people that were looking for the best care for the wife. And she decided that she founded that care here in Phoenix. So they were traveling to Arizona from New York for their care. And it became apparent that, yes, this was the best place for her to be treated. But from a financial standpoint, her husband couldn't stay here in Arizona with her because he had to go back to New York and work. So she's here treating, staying here alone in Arizona, and he's in New York. And he was calling around to many different cancer support agencies, the American Cancer Society and others, looking for some companionship for his wife, who's going to take her to the grocery store. She likes certain vitamins and healthy foods. How do we get her to Sprouts? How do we get somebody to just sit and be with her on the weekends so she's not alone? So the American Cancer Society actually referred him to Phoenix Cancer Support Network. And the phone rang one day, and I picked it up. And it was this man, and he's explaining the situation about his wife, and he's in New York, and he's close to tears, and my wife is alone, and she's everything to me, and she's treating in Arizona, and I need someone to help her and to be there for her when I can't be. And so I said, absolutely, we will figure this out. So I had a volunteer that has worked with some of our clients who has a little bit more time. She was going out to sit with this patient at the hospital during treatments. She was going to be with her in her apartment during the weekends. They got to be dear, dear friends.
Wow.
And PCSN still provided transportation for her when they wanted to go to the grocery store, or they wanted to go shopping together, or things that they wanted to do. We sent a driver to take them. And the husband was just so grateful, and you could just hear in his voice the ease of mind when he heard that we were just giving his wife something he couldn't during this time where he wished he could be with her.
And he helped make it happen.
He did.
It's wonderful. Naturopathic medicine. We've been fortunate to work together.
Yes.
Us here at Naturopathic Specialists with Phoenix Cancer Support Network. Why naturopathic medicine? What's your experience with that?
Sure. So just having worked with cancer patients in a full-time job capacity outside of the work through PCSN for a number of years, I've had a lot of exposure to naturopathic medicine and how it complements chemotherapy, how it can complement radiation treatment, and sometimes be the right choice for patients if it's done in the right way. So what I've experience through PCSN was I've had a number of patients who are having a lot of significant side effects from their conventional treatment and needed some support. And so because I've had a lot of experience in working with all sorts of doctors, I knew right away to call Dr. Rubin and say, and you know, your reputation preceded you. I've worked with you in other ways in the past. And so I knew that when I had somebody who needed specific support in this way, that you were the one who's trained in oncology, who knows this patient population, who knows what's safe for them, what isn't safe for them, and can really help them do it in the right way.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, because we're talking about a public safety issue here, which is really behind the motivation for starting the Oncology Association of Naturopathic Physicians, which was really to help the public discriminate an expert, especially here in the state of Arizona, because in order to demonstrate specialty legally, a naturopathic physician has to have recognition by the Board of Medicine, which is available for board-certified naturopathic oncologists. And it's true, because somebody could go find a naturopathic doctor and see them, but they might not have expertise in oncology. Where it's really important is in the realm of pediatrics. I mean, it's important in the realm of oncology in general, but what if somebody's on a clinical trial? I mean, one of the things that we fear is that in the profession is that if somebody uses naturopathic medicine in a way that could actually make that patient not a candidate for their clinical trial anymore. So you're talking about safety and protecting the public.
Absolutely. So and if you don't have that expertise in that space, you could end up harming a patient and you know, preventing them from getting better, and you know, even struggling with interactions with the treatment that they're already on. So I wholeheartedly support experts in the field of naturopathic oncology and making sure that those are the people that are helping our clients.
Awesome. Well, we love PCSN.
Oh, good.
We absolutely support you. Tell us, how difficult is it for somebody to get on board with you? If they say they see this video, or they hear about you, or run into your website, or see you on Instagram or Facebook, and they call in, what's sort of the time to be able to achieve service?
Sure. So our website, which is www.pcsnetwork.org, is the best way for someone to learn about our services. We've got the applications on there on the website. So you just click on the website, you click on the links that give you the application, and there's two forms that people fill out. One is a general intake form that will explain, you know, kind of the situation they're in and the services they're looking to get help with. And then the other form is just a form that says, if we help you for free, you won't sue us, basically. And once those forms are sent back to us, there's an email that it gets sent to. One of our volunteers, or usually me, calls the patient directly and just has a real honest conversation about what are you going through and how can we help? And I've been there, and we want to help you. And usually we spend some time on the phone with them, and then we just go from there, and it's pretty quick.
I think you're setting a new bar. I mean, this is really the era of individualized treatment, personalized medicine, and this is personalized advocacy and support. This is not a cheap endeavor. This is taking a lot of your time, but you have to fund these programs for people. How do you get the money to provide the support that you do?
That's a great question, Dr. Rubin, and quite frankly, one that I get a lot, and the one that keeps me up at night. You know, we started this thing with a lot of family and friend support and people who believed in us and our board and what we were doing. It grew into them telling their friends and their friends telling their friends, so we started getting more donors. We've started to build relationships with local companies and corporate partnerships so that local businesses like Envoy America, like IV Revival, like Goldie's Motors, companies here in Phoenix helping people in Phoenix with cancer. So we've really moved forward in this corporate sponsorship and partnership space, and we're really hoping to do more.
Corporations helping people. Let's talk about people helping people. Say somebody wants to volunteer their time and provide the support through your services. How do they get involved?
So there's a number of different ways people can get involved with us. Number one is volunteering their time. They can go on our website, www.pcsnetwork.org, and they can call us, they can send us an email and say, I want to help. There's so much opportunity to help, whether it be face-to-face with an actual client or patient, or behind the scenes helping with our events, our fundraisers. There's lots of different ways people can volunteer to be involved. The second way that people can get involved is obviously through donations. We're a 501c3 organization, so every dollar is tax deductible, and people can donate on our website or just call us to make a donation. And the third way really is helping us spread the word. It's important for people to know that these services are available to cancer patients because, to your point, not everybody knows that we exist. So making sure that people know that we are here for them and we want to help them and that we're going to do whatever we can to help them through their journey is crucial and very impactful.
I think it's wonderful what you're doing.
Thank you. And I just pray and hope, and whatever out there can help me is that we can continue to get the donations and the funding that we need, because everything comes from a private donation. So we're having a big event coming up, a fundraiser. There's opportunities on our website to donate, but if we don't have enough money, the demand and the need is so prevalent. So many people need this help in this service,
Yes.
But if we can't support it from a financial perspective, we can't do it anymore. And so I just really, really, want to be able to continue to help people. And I need people who believe in what we're doing to continue to advocate for our funding.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being on Ad Hoc with the Doc today.
Oh, it's my
Been
pleasure.
wonderful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.